Thank you very much, Mr. Patrick Legans. I am here now with longtime local Laurel Robinson, who heads up the Telluride Wine Festival. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of the festival and also, more importantly, what's happening this year. But first, I would love you to share your story with our audience of how you came to Telluride, when, why.
It's a story. I was a stockbroker in Colorado Springs in 1982. And I got my license to be a stockbroker, and
you were obviously a child prodigy.
Yeah, yes, I was. And everybody else called the Porsche owners, and they called doctors, and I said, well, geographically, where can I go? And Telluride was the furthest point that was still in our territory. And so I called up and I talked to Judy Kiernan, and I said, hey, what's the demographic of Telluride? And she said, oh, it's a lot of trust funders. And I said, well, what's that? What's a trust funder?
Right, you didn't even know the term.
I didn't even know what it was.
Right.
And so she said, well, those are people who grew up with a lot of money and hiding out here. I said, well, that sounds great. So I drove out here, and I drove through Telluride. All the way through, because I went, this can't be it.
Well, you can't actually drive through unless you go up over Bear Creek.
Which is exactly what I did. I went straight through, and I started going up. And I was like, maybe it's over here. And then it got a little hairy, and I said, no, I think it's back down there. So I went back down.
That's a great story.
And I went down, and I came driving back in, and there was this guy walking in from the trailer park with his dog that had 3 legs. And I said, and it looked so uncomfortable, this poor dog. And so I stopped and I said, hey, can I give you guys a ride? He goes, yeah, come on. So they hop in the car. We drive in. He goes, let me buy you a drink. It's like 2 p.m. We go into O'Willy's at the time. O'Willy's, which is now Rustico.
Rustico, right.
And there were peanut shells all over the floor. And the priest was in there with Ireland. She was Whisper and Jim's wife. And she was telling the priest these dirty jokes. And she was laughing, and I just went, this is it.
This is it. I'm home.
This is it. The dog could come in. We had peanut shells. I had my little suit on.
Right. A couple of likely clients there at the bar.
Exactly. And I ended up coming every month, for a week every month, for 2 years. And then I just moved here.
Right. And did you give up these dreams of stockbroking? Or?
I did, actually. I did.
So you then, I know you from far enough back, but it's nowhere near that far back.
Right.
I think we first met when you were involved with Mountain Film. So when did
Quite
you
possibly.
When did you were you involved with the Wine Fest at that time?
I have always been a part of the Wine Fest as a volunteer or as a volunteer, pretty much.
Because the Wine Fest has been around for a while. This is its 38th year, right?
It's its 38th year. It is the oldest wine festival in Colorado.
Wow,
As a matter of fact, there's the founders, who are the Fruins and Rudy Davidson and Andy Davidson and a number of other locals. They wrote up a history, and they wrote it up for the first year, and they said, yeah, these nice people from Aspen came over and said this was so great they wanted to start one. So the Aspen Festival is 37 years old.
Cool. I love it.
Which is pretty cool.
So for those people who haven't experienced the Wine Festival, don't know much about it, tell us a little bit about what it is, what it does, and then from there go into what you're excited about this year.
So our Wine Festival is kind of a wine festival for everybody. We have free things. We have some things that are fairly expensive. We have wines that are eminently drinkable and easy on the pocketbook, and then we have wines. We're going to do a reserve tasting this year that's for $150 bottles of wine and up. So we have
starting at $150.
Starting at $150, and so we have a little bit for everybody. And because I have a farm in Norwood and come from kind of a farming background, I'm very much into the local food, local meat, and we're into education, as much education as possible, like Mountain Film was, to the extent that we can do that. So we have these wonderful seminars. We have these reserve tastings where you meet the winemaker. He talks to you for 45 minutes about his wines and what his philosophy of winemaking is. And so what we try to do is create relationships between our attendees and these wineries, these chefs, the producers of this beautiful food.
So that's an interesting idea too, that there are chefs, because as Patrick Legans, the wine geek food freak, will tell you, wine doesn't just go on its own, it goes with food.
That's right.
And vice versa.
Or for breakfast.
There's that. So there's a lot to do with food
Yes.
in your festival.
Of course.
Yeah. So we have chefs, you have speakers. Do you have workshops? Do you have exhibitions?
We have had workshops in the past, and we do have exhibitions. I would say that the grand tasting is sort of an exhibition where we're actually having it in Mountain Village this year. So what we try to do is we try to do both towns, so that because we bring a lot of business into the restaurants, we bring a lot of business into the hotels because our people don't camp.
Right.
And so what we try to do is even it out a little bit. So we're having the grand tasting up here in Mountain Village, and it's a big thing on Saturday. We've got lots of food. We've got lots of wineries. We've got local restaurants that are bringing their food. And this year we're doing something different. We are allowing everybody to be able to walk through instead of walling it off and making these boundaries. We're allowing everybody to walk through. Everybody can talk to the vendors, but they can't drink or eat without a wristband. Or this year they can buy a ticket. They can buy individual tickets for $5 each, and we give them a glass, and they can walk around and give a ticket to the winery. So we thought that would bring in even more people and make it more affordable for everybody.
And in addition to wine producers, winemakers, you have sommeliers here as well?
We have somms, we have distilleries, we have... which is really cool. We've got some Colorado distilleries. We've got some cider makers. And then we've got a lot of vendors who just want to come and sell their things. We've got beautiful knives and
it's cool. It sounds very cool.
It's pretty fun.
It's pretty exciting. And if people want to get online, get a ticket, what's the website?
Easy. TellurideWineFestival.com, and it should be fairly easy to navigate. Oh, but I want to talk about our showpiece,
Please.
which is the brunch. Oh, well, two things. Actually, we've got Elks Park this year, and it's open for free for everyone. We have some sponsors. We have a dog food sponsor this year, Castor and Pollux, who does organic dog food. Okay. They've picked a local chef to be their chef, and it's Eliza. So Eliza is going to be making samples, not of dog food, but from the food, the ingredients that go into Castor and Pollux's dog food, which are salmon, blueberries, lots of vegetables. And she will be up there at the brunch on Main Street cooking away for people.
Cooking for people.
And that's free.
Same ingredients.
Same ingredients as in the dog food. And they're giving away dog food samples. We have...
Canine cuisine, I love it.
Exactly. I mean, we should talk to Patrick about this, right? And we've got free wine in Elks Park. So come, there's going to be lots of free food, free wine on Friday. We're just kind of an adjunct, to the farmer's market.
Right.
We thought it'd just be fun.
Perfect.
And you'll see the big sign that says free wine, but you must be 21, of course, and we will card you to go into the wine part. But those are all the local wineries.
Cool.
It'll be great.
Good. Sounds very exciting.
Yep.
I wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you.
This weekend.
Thank you.
And look forward to experiencing some of it, and hope everyone else gets an opportunity as well. It's well worth the effort, for sure.
And it's Thursday. Thursday we open up, and we have tickets at Elks Park. Our ticketing and hospitality is there. Friday we'll be at Elks Park all day to do ticketing, and Saturday we'll be up here in the Mountain Village. Sunday we've got the brunch.
Good.
On Main Street. We close down Main Street, and brunch is from 11 to 1.
Laurel, thank you very, very much. Really appreciate you coming on and telling us all about the Wine Fest and your own story.
Well, and thanks for having me.
Love that story. And now let's join the Telluride Fuel team of Becca and Ryan, this time for a mobility warm-up exercise.